In the tunnel.
In the tunnel.
In the tunnel. You're listening to In the Tunnel.
Hello and welcome to In the Tunnel, episode number 94.
Yep. Another month or so gone by.
I mean, this one was more actual life got in the way. Like, I finished moving. It took a month, yeah, but
Yeah. Sean
everything's
is
back.
now finally joining the real world on his own.
Hey, I know, but hey, it's good.
Maybe
Hopefully,
your parents will actually listen to the podcast now because they don't have to listen to you record it.
yeah, but they've also called me twice a day for the past whatever a week I've been here ish.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. All right, so we're gonna start off with the NHL. So we want to take a look at the TV deals that the NHL has. So the biggest ones with ESPN, right?
Yeah, well, at least the ESPN one was supposed to be the biggest deal. I kind of take, a little bit of, I don't know, I take incidence with whatever the NHL ESPN partnership was. Because I think the assumption was, at the very least, these games were going to be on a somewhat regular basis on ESPN or ESPN2.
Or I,
And
I would at least expect the good ones, like, to be on ESPN two at least. Like,
right.
if I see Penguins Lightning and ESPN's not showing it on TV,
Hmm.
there's a problem.
Right. And let's remember what ESPN is when, like, say, football is on. When the NFL is on, which is dominated by everybody but ESPN because they have Monday Night Football, ESPN's networks are like billiards, darts, bowling, stuff like that. And we're not saying throw NHL games on at that time slot because obviously you're not competing with that. But to say that what ESPN is broadcasting should be prioritized over the hockey partnership deal that they brought in, you can't agree with that.
I
And so
mean,
what I have a problem with is they initially for a couple of weeks put some games on ESPN and mostly ESPN2, and then they put everything behind the ESPN Plus paywall.
yeah, and like the thing is, right? You have games on like Tuesday, Wednesday. Like you don't have many other sports going on for a Tuesday or Wednesday night game, and like
Right,
I'm not saying
especially during NFL season
yeah, yeah,
because
and
everybody's,
but
practicing or resting.
but also I'm saying like I don't expect. I'm even over here. I'm not expecting you to put NHL games on all those days, but like you probably have an NHL game one of those days that deserves to be on national television.
Yeah. No, and that's the thing is 82 games for every NHL team, and then, they're far more likely to have a must-watch game in the NHL than you are the NFL.
Yeah.
And that's not to say that the NFL isn't worthy of having a night or two to themselves on ESPN,
Yep.
but, the numbers are better for marketing and raising television ratings when you're actually talking about NHL and the opportunities that they have in terms of margin and number of games.
Right.
Now, go ahead.
I mean, but the thing is, like, even going into the season, though, I was hoping that maybe after opening day and maybe a week after, I was expecting a cliff in the
Hmm.
drop off of the amount of games ESPN would put on national television. But I don't think I've tuned into ESPN where they've had a game on national television on any
Right,
of their
right,
TV
and that's
channels.
kind of the thing of why I wanted to revisit this is, uh, and I could be wrong on this, and maybe they've had a game every now and then, but there's certainly every time because I watch SportsCenter when I get ready for work every morning, and when they're advertising hockey, they're advertising it on ESPN Plus.
Yep.
Even like Ovechkin versus Crosby this Friday on ESPN Plus. I was like, well, what good does that do? I'm watching ESPN because I don't have ESPN Plus, and at
And
this
nobody's
early in
uh,
the season to just let go of trying.
yeah, but I mean also nobody's going to buy through your paywall for no hockey fan will buy through your paywall for that game.
Right. And there's so many different ways that you can get streams without having to pay a dime. So why would you, and even if you're a casual fan or like trying to get into hockey or have just a small interest in it, why would you pay, to get behind the paywall just to watch something that you're not really that avid of a fan of?
Yeah. So I don't see it. Like I understand putting like the more obscure games on ESPN Plus because you won't get the national traction that your main channel will need. But like Capitals Penguins, it's like a time honored rivalry.
Yeah, and look, like even Friday night, I feel like is a big no show for a lot of sports because like you have the NBA. Sometimes there's a marquee matchup, but
Yeah,
like
but
college football normally isn't on a
I'm
Friday
saying,
night. NFL isn't there. Friday night could be huge for hockey,
but I'm
but they
saying
don't give
like
a shit.
I don't care. Like you can have your NBA marquee matchup because that's freaking what ESPN does on Fridays, right? Like give us one of the throwaway Tuesday or Wednesday nights. Like
Yeah,
you do
but you
even
could
less on
get.
those days.
But what I'm saying is they could get big ratings on a Friday night for
Yeah,
hockey
but
if they
I
wanted
mean
to,
the thing
because
is,
that's a big go out night for a lot of young people who, they're in a sports bar, they see hockey, and maybe they get interested in it. So they can grow an audience.
yeah, but
But
like what I'm saying is you're already like on the contrary, they're already established in the NBA and the other bigger sports. I'm not talking about billiards and all that crap. I'm saying like at least in the NBA and college football to an extent, they're established in some way, so they don't want to give Friday night up. I'm okay with that, like whatever. But to do what you're doing to hockey by just putting it behind ESPN Plus for all the games that you cover is not it.
you know, no, and the thing for me is, I think I haven't really watched a lot of the TNT games, but TNT has been straightforward with what it was. It was going to be just like inside the NBA in terms of pregame and
Yeah,
halftime intermission content, and they were going to do 1, 2 games a week, probably like a doubleheader format, and they were going to do that once, maybe twice a week,
yeah, that's fine.
and and that's all Turner TNT ever said that they were going to be, and they've lived up to it.
Yeah, and that's the thing though. Like I can actually tune into TNT and watch it though. It's not like A, I don't have to go behind a random paywall, and B, it's like it's actually pretty good. Like I'm okay with it,
Yeah, and the thing was ESPN made such a big deal about hockey being back on their network.
and
But
it's
at the
not.
end of the day, yeah, it's not. Like they made such a big deal before that Penguins Lightning game, which was the first game of their year. It was like they did a thing with um, one of the commentators or the Oregon players
Hmm.
from 20 years ago when it was last on ESPN,
Yeah,
and like, oh, 20 years off the air, it didn't feel right, but it's finally back. And then 3 weeks later, it's gone again.
it's gone. It didn't even last 3 weeks. I'm pretty sure it was after 2 weeks, but
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway,
And the
so
fact
yeah,
that they made such a big deal about having coverage for the Kraken draft, and then like they did that, they did
yeah,
0 preseason games, despite the fact they would do 5 or 6 NBA preseason games, and
yeah. I
they
mean,
didn't take
at the
it
same
seriously.
time, like nobody really pays attention to NHL preseason games.
But you get what I'm saying. Like, if they
Yeah,
were going to take it seriously, they would have used those as dress rehearsals for getting their video packages right, making sure everything runs
true.
smoothly in the production trucks. They didn't do that. They don't
True.
care.
Yeah, so anyway, we're gonna also take a look. So remember
So,
this giant list of commentators and
yeah, that
analysts?
giant list. And I love how ABC is on this graphic of the ESPN family of networks that they were actually going to put a game on ABC. Has there been one game on ABC for the NHL?
I
I
don't
don't think.
actually know.
Watch the Winter Classic will be the only one. Winter Classic and maybe the Stanley Cup Finals.
Yeah, I mean, like, but that's the thing. Like, I don't think I've actually watched an ESPN broadcast because I didn't even watch the first game they had. I was like, I mean, I was busy at that time, but like, I was gonna tune into ones later, and all of a sudden they just dropped off a cliff. So I actually can't even comment on how these commentators and analysts and play-by-players are doing.
So, I mean, but here's the thing: ESPN hires a team of 24 analysts,
And they're relegated to
commentators,
ESPN
broadcasters.
Plus.
They're all behind a paywall. A lot of them are doing double duty with like college football commentary and
Yep.
Sports Center. And let's not forget that Barry Melrose is basically just
I mean,
doing
Barry
his two
Melrose
make.
is the face of
Barry
ESPN
Melrose has
hockey.
he is, but he actually has been on ESPN talking hockey less since they started
Yeah,
actually having NHL coverage.
but
At
also
least,
I'm okay with that.
I am too, but it at least used to be that if they were going to talk hockey as infrequently as they did, the hockey that they were going to talk about was going to be on SportsCenter, and it was going to be Barry Melrose talking to a SportsCenter anchor for 2.5 minutes, and then you were never going to hear about the sport and or Barry Melrose ever again.
Until the next time.
And now Barry Melrose is basically just not there,
Yep.
which fine by me. I'd gladly take a team of 23 instead of Barry Melrose as a 24.
Yeah. Well,
I
I mean, and
now.
also they have this in the crease, right?
Mhm.
Or
Oh yeah,
apparently,
another show behind a paywall.
yeah. And I'm just like, what the heck is this? Like, you might as well just keep SportsCenter in that pocket. Like, come
Yeah,
on.
in the crease may have been as good a name as when we decided that In the Tunnel was a good name. If not, we have a slight edge because In the Crease is just so damn generic.
But
At
also,
least the
in the
tunnel
tunnel
has
is like,
sides.
in the tunnel is like, you always have the players running or walking down the tunnel
Yes.
to the field or when as they come back. So it made sense for like a name. What the
Yeah,
heck?
and
It's
at
the
least
damn goalie
94.
crease.
Yeah, and 94 episodes in, we're still explaining why her name is relevant, which is
No,
always
no,
good promotion.
but it's a freaking goalie crease. That's
Oh yeah.
the crease. It's one
Yeah,
player.
and when you're trying to grow the game, having to say, "Oh, it's a goalie crease," doesn't fucking do shit.
No. Oh, one player resides there. Oh, that's
Yeah,
great, guy.
yeah. Two players, 90 feet apart from each other, or no? Is it 100 some feet, right?
It's about 100.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So,
like they have their own crease. So like what the heck do you talk about in the show? Goalies? No, it's whatever. I don't even know. I don't even want to know.
but moving back, the only thing where Turner has failed is the fact that they put Wayne Gretzky in the studio. They said that was going to be part of
Okay,
their inside the
but
NHL team, but he ended up like a few episodes in. I don't know if it's because Paul Bissonnette was telling too many uncensored stories on the set, and he was sitting next to him. But after like 3 weeks, Gretzky was gone, and I guess he's not coming back until the playoffs.
but at the
Seems
same
like
time, having such a big name as Wayne Gretzky, which a lot of casual fans or even not fans of the NHL would still know, makes sense in order to try and gain viewership at the beginning. So I don't even fault that choice
I don't
because
fault it either, but I would tell you I've seen what it was like when he tried to be a coach.
oh no, 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 he's
Saw
not
what it was
not
like
not
when he
it.
was trying to be a GM.
Not it, dude. No, trust me.
Like,
I agree with you on that. I'm
it,
just saying that even if he is bad, which he's not the greatest, we both know that in
well,
terms of
yeah, he
anything off
fucking
the
left.
ice. Huh? No,
He
no,
left.
I know, but like, even though I knew going into it that I probably would never want to hear his voice on the cast ever get like ever in terms of analysts or whatever, I still think like knowing that I'd never actually want to listen to it or hear it or watch it. It was a great move just to get people to initially tune in. So I don't care that he left. I don't care anything after, but I think it did its job.
I think that Paul Bissonnette was drove the needle more for that because of his uncensored kind of sense of humor. Um, but because of Gretzky's failures in anything but playing the game, I think he's now far enough separated where like the hype is just kind of gone. We've seen him fail
But
more in his post
the thing
career
is,
than
no casual fan nor person who doesn't know about hockey would know about those failures. All they'll know about is the freaking greatest player to ever skate on the damn ice.
I guess.
And in order to get some initial viewers, having Gretzky on that desk, no matter how bad it is the right call. And then even if Paul Bissonnette was the reason that he's gone, he was gonna get ousted in some way anyway.
Fair enough. We'll see because it seemed weird that he was just gone like after 3 weeks.
But like,
Can you keep in mind they're doing like once a week coverage.
yeah, but at the same time, it's like I think he was gonna be gone at some point anyway. Whether it was 3 weeks in, half a season in, after one season, I don't care. He was gonna go. I don't think he's that good at anything off the ice.
Mm-hmm.
So in order to like, I think he did his job. Like it did its job though, and I have to admit, like the TNT broadcast isn't that bad. Like
Yeah, and they're actually doing a good amount of work, and their Instagram page isn't very popular, but what they're doing is promoting, much like they do with Inside the NBA, they're promoting the funny moments
yeah,
and the moments you can relate to most. Henrik Lundqvist is singing and playing guitar with Paul Bissonnette trying to sing,
yeah,
and it's funny. It's relatable. It
yeah,
gets people to want to watch.
and that's exactly what they're doing. So I have all praises to say about
Oh yeah,
TNT
absolutely.
and
I
Turner.
I
So
just wish that they were promoting the TNT coverage more so I could tune into it.
yeah,
Because I feel like that's the thing is NBA on TNT has been going on for 20 plus years now,
hmm
and I know that TNT is a presence for NBA. But
right.
I will forget that it's year one of the NHL being
Or
on
I will
TNT.
forget when the games are on TNT. That is a very
Yeah.
valid point. But I think that going forward, as long as this continues, which it probably will, they can get better at it.
But I also one last point. I do want to say I feel like the NHL itself isn't marketing TNT as the platform either.
I don't think the NHL itself, like, okay, I don't pay attention to a lot of what the NHL markets, but I don't think I've seen ESPN on there like, oh, we're on ESPN Plus today.
Well, I can understand that because the NHL is trying to grow their game and they understand that
Yeah,
marketing
but
wise they
what I'm
can't
saying
grow it
is
like
that
that.
they haven't really done anything to outside of the beginning of the season. I don't think they've done anything to promote either of these, which is a problem on the NHL's front more than it is on TNT and ESPN's front. Aside from the fact that ESPN has paywalled all of the content, uh,
I'm just wondering when we're gonna have a world where there's no. I get that it would change salary caps drastically, but when TV just doesn't cost a thing for anything, and then
I
you can
think
just
that's not sustainable though, because all
right. I
this.
understand that, but people online stream illegally as it is. So
Right,
if they just opened up the doors,
but the problem is that everything as a service costs money, right?
yeah, that's
And
what I'm
the
saying. It's
reason
not
that
gonna
people are
happen.
streaming online illegally is because there are too many services that they want that cost in total too much money.
Right.
So, and that's the reason why, like, when Netflix originally came out, you actually saw a pretty sharp decline in the amount of pirated content. But that's another whole another issue. And that's not
I'm just saying, I feel like one of these days, one league is going to let the doors open up
But they
because they're
can't right now because it's
but
too
they'd be
much of their
so
revenue.
desperate. They if they were ever in a position where they were so desperate to get a fan base and to truly grow the game as like a last pitch resort.
But I mean, I think
And
that they give up way too much of a revenue, and they literally have to be in the hole already and dying for that to
well,
be the
the
case.
NHL is the closest to that being a
No,
possibility.
they're still revenue generating, right?
I'm saying of the four major sports.
Yeah, because I think you actually have soccer that would do that first, but soccer has enough of a fan base anyway.
But soccer has too many leagues. That's the thing.
Well, no, I'm
You
not. I'm talking about
you'd
MLS. I'm
have to
talking
have
about
a
you.
oh
I'm
yeah,
talking about NA, North America. So
yeah.
MLS when I say soccer. I'm not talking about like UEFA and all that other.
So there's 100 leagues
I know, but what
in
I'm
North
saying is
America
that
alone.
like the NHL, in order for any league to be in the position where they'll be the first to scrap TV deals that make them tens or hundreds of millions of dollars in whatever case their sport is. They'd already have to be in the hole so much.
What about colleges?
I mean, I think college is the whole another can of worms because you basically are getting people to play for free that you're making boatloads of money off of.
Right.
So
Like
I think that's a whole different issue that shouldn't even be having multi-billion-dollar contracts with
yeah.
TV and whatever.
Especially if you like go to a smaller school. It would be nice to watch the teams play for free.
Yeah, I think that's like another issue. It's a different issue because of how it's structured. You have sure they're getting compensation by getting like whatever however they compensate, whether it's like some type of scholarship or whatnot.
Well, there is NIL now, so they can get paid now.
Yeah,
Players.
yeah. So like finally that's happened, but like previously they were getting like these TV deals were worth tens and hundreds of $1 million again,
Depending on the school, yeah.
and that's
University of Texas had their own fucking network. Longhorn Network on ESPN, which is also not really a network. It
No, but
was
it was
like
like local. It was
basically
like a local broadcast channel, right?
no, it was basically like when the Big 12 network, which was also on ESPN's family, like wasn't streaming.
Yeah.
You really think that University of Texas had their own fucking like channel going around the clock?
Well, it's close enough when it's a streaming site, dude. You have the production basically to do it. You just don't have the whatever.
Yeah, go to
But
your
like,
cable provider and ask for only Longhorn Network and see what the fuck
well,
happens.
I mean, your cable
I think
provider is
it.
trying to upsell you so
Well,
much that you can't get it.
I think it shut down.
Yeah, probably. But yeah, like
Anyway,
anyway. So that's about the TV deals. Let's talk about other news. So first things first is the NHL and the NHLPA have agreed to withdraw from the Olympics.
I
So
stand corrected. Longhorn Network, year-round, 24-hour network. It launched 10 years ago.
oh, okay. But yeah, so the NHL and the NHLPA have agreed to not participate in the Olympics due to stuff.
Yeah, that stuff being COVID, and that COVID being Omicron, and other variants that we've already been exposed to.
Yeah, so the NHL has also began their winter break early. I think it's also ending earlier.
So found out yesterday our graphics already made, so if anybody actually looks at our YouTube, which one of these days we'll get more than a few views on a video, um, uh, our graphic shows this is as of December 20th, but we record today the 22nd. The shutdown, or I guess it's more of like a winter break, is going. It was 22nd through 25th through the Christmas holiday.
So they were
Um,
going to resume on Wednesday, the 27th, from what I
I thought it was
understood.
the 26th that they were
Uh,
resuming. If there were any games, if not, then the 27th. There is a chance that there was no games because they were giving that day off, but let me try to look that up.
Or I'm
If you have any,
sorry. Oh no, I heard that they were. I'm sorry. Because Christmas is on Saturday this year. I thought they were going to stop until Wednesday the
yeah,
29th was where they would resume. Are you saying they're gonna
27th,
we're gonna resume on the
27th.
27th, which is Monday?
Monday, there's games scheduled, Penguins, Bruins, stuff like that.
Okay.
At least that's what the ESPN app is giving me. ESPN, you're not so worldwide leader in hockey. But it does have a break in their calendar from 23rd to 27th. So I would take it that
Yeah.
27th would be the starting date again.
Yeah, but there's been a lot of teams experiencing issues, so hopefully those can quietly go away as they pass. And hopefully everybody's okay.
Yes, hopefully. It stinks. Um, this one's interesting because we also had the border shut down again for teams because, as we know, Canada gives a shit about protecting
Yep.
people who live there,
Yep.
and then we're in a country that doesn't.
Well, our country thrives on economy, and we can't with the border shut down. So,
And so it was an interesting way of if they were going to power through the season anyway,
yep.
because how are they going to? This was about to be the mess that they had with the Canadian teams last year,
Yeah.
where they just didn't finish up at
But
the
I
same
think
time.
that their planning was better this year, and the fact that they were getting teams through like the entire Canada trip pretty subsequently, like so they wouldn't have to travel into Canada, or Canada wouldn't have to travel into them too many times. So they were trying. Obviously, it didn't really work out with all this stuff going on, but like I do think they at least tried and had a pretty good plan if everything didn't just go like
Yeah,
this.
yeah, it was a excuse me decent. It was a decent plan, but the fact of the matter is, Canadians one of those teams that's throwing it up with the COVID outbreaks. Um, and once you have one, you kind of have to keep shutting down.
Yeah.
And I think, we joke because you're a Devils fan and I'm a Penguins fan, but the thing of it was, that as always they do like Penguins Devils at some point where it's like home and away, but it's like 24 hours between games.
Yep.
And this one was going to, they got the first game in and then the Devils had the outbreak. So you can't get the second game in. And like last year, it was calculated so you never had those games.
Yeah.
But it certainly is weird that they just went right back, despite the fact
I
that
mean, also they
I
were
know
trying
that
to
there
play a
wasn't.
full season, makes it a lot harder.
I get that, but like, and I get that it's not mask mandate when the season starts, the booster and everything's looking good, but like, I
Yeah.
don't know. It seemed to be that a lot of people in healthcare that are higher up, a lot of people who are in the know, CDC stuff like that, were saying for the longest time, if you thought that this was over, this kind of thing happening was to be expected. And so
Yep.
it certainly seems like not a lot of people, at least for the NHL, took that into consideration.
Yeah. All
But then
right.
again, Gary Bettman was the guy who shut down the league with a hockey goal in his backyard, which, well, the places to put a goal was the weirdest one.
Yeah. So anyway, we wanted to take a look at the standings right now because of our mid-year break, I guess, mid-season break going on.
Yeah,
Um.
like when I get my break off of work for the week.
Yeah. So I think we're seeing more realistic numbers now, aside from the Devils completely tank because they were doing pretty good.
I
Then they lost like
I
7 or something.
honestly can't tell which one is the Devils and which one is the Blue Jackets. That's how small the Devils' odds are to make the
Yeah, I think
playoffs.
they're like 1.4% or something.
That's not good. You guys
Yeah.
have what, 25 points right now?
We're 10, 14, and 6 or something. Yeah, somewhere around there.
26.
Something like that. Yeah, but we were like 10-7 or 10-8 or something at one point, and we just lost.
It is
So
what it
yeah,
is.
our season's not going so hot.
You guys have 25 points.
Oh, 10, 14, and 5
But
then?
you 10, 15, and 5.
Oh, we lost another game. I forgot.
But at least you guys aren't the Islanders who, despite their best efforts in terms of recruiting talent, have just continued to shoot themselves in the foot.
Yeah, but the Islanders have a 15% chance to make the playoffs. The Devils have like a 1.4.
Yeah, but the Islanders also had like a 9-game losing streak,
Yep.
which is insanely hard to do in hockey.
Yeah. It was.
And they opened up a new arena and couldn't fucking win in it.
But that arena's nice.
You going up for a game there?
I want to. It's actually not that far anymore, so maybe.
After work trip?
Not even. It's probably like a weekend. Just go in.
No, you work in the city, so.
No, no, no. I don't work in the city anymore.
All right. Anyway, let's move on before we give away Sean's work address.
Anyway, yeah, like so the Lightning is still gonna make the playoffs. The Golden Knights, yes. The Kraken have no shot. What's a surprise? Capitals, Penguins.
You mean to tell me that the Blackhawks retooling with 35-year-old veterans didn't work?
We all knew that was gonna happen. Anyway, like
Just
the
felt bad
Rangers are
for
doing.
Fleury at this point.
The Rangers have an 87% chance almost. That's kind of surprising in my opinion.
Well, it's surprising only because of the Islanders, who should be filling the spot where the Rangers are.
Yeah, that's
having
basically
completely
it.
shit the bed. Because let's say what it is. It's what, top 4 teams in each division make it. So,
Yeah, basically.
So where
Anyway, yeah, you got the Wild, the
the
Avalanche.
Rangers are in the 3rd spot. Actually, the Rangers have 42 points.
Yeah, that's what they're doing
They're
surprisingly
1
well.
point off the top spot. And
They're doing surprisingly well. Anyway, the Wild, the Avalanche, the Predators are not surprising where they are.
the Wild being good,
Well, they're
it didn't
good in the
take them
regular
long.
season.
Well, but they were out of the playoffs for a year or two. Didn't
Yeah,
take
but
them long to
they
turn
always
around.
at
I mean,
least
they were rebuilding.
they always at least like have a good start to the season though, I feel like. They never like
It's hard to root
go
against
0-12
them.
or 1-12 or whatever at the beginning of the season.
Well, it's hard to root against them because they're just never fucking any good when the playoffs start anyway.
Yeah, and then you have the Maple Leafs, the Panthers. So yeah, I think this playoff picture or these odds and are pretty close to what you'll see in the playoffs.
You mean to tell me we're not going to see the Coyotes in the playoffs despite the fact they're 6-21-2?
That's correct. We're also not going to
They
see the
have
Kraken in the
four-
playoffs. Sorry to all you believers.
The Kraken have 9 more points than the fucking Coyotes do. The Coyotes have 14 points.
Yeah, I don't think
We're-
we're seeing them
We're
still.
over a third of the season in.
Yeah, there's no way. But I don't think we're seeing the Kraken. I don't. I like the Canucks are basically out of it at this point. The Sabres are no way. Senators,
Canadians ain't making it back with their negative 42 goal differential.
yeah, that's just not
I know
happening.
that Carey Price has checked himself out for health reasons, but you still can't go negative 42.
Yeah, and then the Blue Jackets are not it this year either. So yeah, we'll move on to your favorite topic.
Oh, hold on. Vancouver's won 6 games in a row, and they're still second to last in the Pacific.
Yeah, that's why they're still like they have no hope. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, actually, they might because they're only 10 points out of first.
Huh? Eh,
Only 6 points out of a tie for third.
okay. Yeah, I still don't think so. Anyway, on to your favorite topic and your
Oh.
favorite picture.
This is, I have to be careful with where I go with this because the internet will say different things for different reasons. I don't like LeBron James because he's a self-centered person who creates the super teams and feels the need to be entitled to think that the super team he creates deserves the ring every year.
Not 1, not
So-
2, not 3.
Yeah, not worth my time. Okay. So my thing is, I don't. I He's a minority investor in Fenway Sports Group. Fenway Sports Group bought the majority share of the Penguins earlier this year because Lemieux's now taking a minority stake, um, and sold off most of his shares, as well as Ron Burkle, who was the majority owner. My thing is, I don't want this guy pretending that hockey is his life now. He's already made it clear to Cleveland that he pretended to make the Cavs his life as if it was his life's mission to get them a ring, then left. Then he pretended it was the most important thing for him to be with his boys in Miami, and then he left. Then he made Cleveland feel like they really were the most important thing, despite the fact they left. Then he left again. And now the Lakers, where, he won a ring in the bubble, and every year since he's bitched and moaned as they barely make the playoffs, and then they're not very good. And he fucking I hate Blaze Pizza, where he is an investor of that too. I If I wanted to wait 45 minutes to watch a pizza the size of a food court pizza be made, I would fucking go to a food court. I don't need to fucking go to an individual building. And I hate the fact that when I lived in Wilmington, everybody seemed to think that that was good pizza. It wasn't. No good pizza is made in a machine press. It's fucking not a stamp.
I could
So
go to New
I don't.
York for that.
Yeah, exactly. Go to a dollar slice store. They're all a million times better than Blaze Pizza. Anyway, I
Yeah,
don't
so
want LeBron. I
so
don't. The Penguins have done fine. They've won rings without LeBron's promotion. I do not want. It's not going to change the salary
I
cap
mean, I
that
don't
much.
think his
It's
promotion
not
does
going to.
anything anyway.
Well, his clout does.
I, okay.
But his fan base is not going to be interested in hockey because
Yeah,
he wears a Penguins jersey. It's not going to change tourism to Pittsburgh.
that's what I
It's
meant.
not
Yeah.
going to change any part of the payroll for the Penguins. It's not worth it. Just if you're gonna be if you're gonna be a small owner, be a silent one. I don't want you. This isn't you. This isn't your territory. I don't want you being here.
Yeah, I mean,
Go
my thing about
Go
this whole
bitch and
like
moan about Anthony Davis not playing and fucking leave Pittsburgh alone.
we'll get
This
to
isn't
that
what we
anyway.
need.
Anyway, I think like sure I was kind of surprised when I saw the sale to Fenway Sports Group. I don't know what it changes for Penguins fans. I hope it doesn't really change much because I know you guys liked Lemieux and whoever the other guy was.
Oh yeah, we loved it. And well, Burkle was, um, or yeah, Burkle was, or David Morehouse was one of the higher ups as part of that ownership group, and he was born and raised a Penguins fan. Had like Jim Rutherford cards when Rutherford was a goalie as a kid.
Yeah.
So like there was a loyalty as fans
Yeah,
to
so
that.
I mean,
And so yeah, it
with that,
changes now.
I hope that you don't see much like immediate change in the um like management of the Penguins in any way.
Well, the hope is that with Mario still being on as a minority owner,
Yeah.
that stays true, but there's really no guarantee. And unfortunately, there have been track records tied to some of the other teams under the Fenway Sports Group where if money's not great, then they do tend to be a little bit more push for the rebuild. Um, so we'll see how it is. It also concerns me a little bit more. This is a Boston oriented group that does not seem to have much control in the Boston market. They have the Red Sox, I think, but that's it.
Yeah, and they have Fenway Park, right?
Yeah. And then they have a soccer team somewhere in Europe, and
Yeah,
I think they have horse racing.
something like that. Anyway, on to the NBA where we talk about your favorite person.
Yeah, so now LeBron apparently, and I don't know the validity of this rumor, may want out of being with the Lakers. And my theory is he went out there for, Space Jam so that he could be in LA for Space Jam. The movies come out, and now the King wants to go. And so the rumor now is he's infatuated with the fact that the Cavaliers are now winning without LeBron. So what LeBron wants to do is squeeze his way back into the Cavs picture, which is going to mean trading all the assets to get LeBron to go back home.
Yeah, it's not gonna work.
Yeah, all these assets, and watch, Kevin Love is going to be the only fucking guy that gets moved, and then Kevin Love is going to be on another bum team.
Yep.
He'll be on the Lakers that don't make the playoffs.
Yep.
So this is what I mean. Like, LeBron, he hasn't had to sniff no playoffs. The playoff tree and format last year to allow 10 teams to have been in. He hasn't been no playoff rookie year almost 20 years ago.
Yep.
And so instead of taking an L every once in a while, he's going to try to force his way into a scenario where he can win.
Yeah, but
And that's the ego at work.
Yep.
Kobe sat at home every now and then, or Kobe willed a bad team into the playoffs that had no right being there.
Yeah. Kobe's also a completely different player, I think.
He was, but in terms of the stature and the
He
status
didn't
of a
turn
legend,
on the team though. He never did. I agree.
right? The Lakers were closer to turning on him than him turning on the team. The Lakers almost traded him to the Bulls.
Yeah.
But Kobe never fucking
Left.
wanted to
Think of
leave.
leaving. He never thought the thought of exiting kind of never entered
Well,
his mind.
he did say in an interview he thought that that being traded to Chicago was a done deal, and they were looking at schools because he thought that was going to happen.
Yeah.
But he did not initiate that.
Yeah. What I'm saying is like it never entered a conversation through him. Like it was not like I want to leave here or at
Right.
least we never heard it in the
Right. The only other close time I think was when the Shaq Kobe feuds were going on. There was probably some tension about if they had to move one, but they didn't move Kobe.
Yeah, they moved Shaq, right? So
yeah.
All right.
So,
well,
we'll
LeBron crying a little bit. What's a surprise? Okay. MLB.
Can we clip that? Just you saying LeBron crying a little bit. What's the surprise with that sigh at the end? I want to put that everywhere I can.
Anyway, MLB. So
I told myself I was going to read about this a little bit. So let me pull this up and I close the link.
So
okay.
We're going into a lockout. I don't think we're surprised. I think the lockout was coming.
It was probably and to be told the CBA for MLB was only like 5 years.
But also extension. I feel like the MLB and the NHL have only had like the two major lockouts in the modern era, right? Are the two major sports with extended lockouts in the modern era?
No, because the NFL had a lockout, but they were able to resolve it. But then they had the replacement refs.
Yeah, but I'm talking about like player lockout. Like you can't actually play with no players.
Well, the NBA did. They had a lockout that went into Christmas.
Oh right, so
that was 2013. I want to say.
Yeah, so they had a big lockout. So then these three sports have had kind of big lockouts.
Yeah, because I remember Christmas Day was opening day for the NBA.
I feel like the MLB is, as like a whole, their players association and the MLB itself are in like the two worst negotiators in a sense. Like they always go into lockout, or at least more recently. Like here we just had the NHL and the NHLPA sit down and figure out that none of them could go to the Olympics as grown men. I don't think that's what happened in a room with the MLB and the
There's a little bit of a difference there because the difference is we have players coming together from everywhere in the world,
Yeah.
and then disbanding and all going back to 30 to 32 different cities and
Countries
potentially
even.
spreading something. It's basically a super spreader event in the making.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, and it's like a band on tour, like we're coming to a city near you. So um, it was common sense that it didn't happen,
yeah.
and it
But still,
shouldn't
there's
have happened.
concessions on both sides, and usually these things go on. Like if we were to take a couple years ago, this would have gone on for a while just
Oh
to
yeah,
reach the conclusion of the same
oh
thing
yeah,
would have happened. What I'm saying is like the period between them entering the negotiation and getting out of the negotiation was a lot shorter than in relative history it
that one is
would have
true.
been.
Well, and also with the NHL, we saw it was the 2016 Olympics, I think.
Yeah, yeah,
No, 2018. Uh,
yeah.
because it was 2010, 14, 18.
Yep.
2018, they didn't allow for NHL players at all. And because of that, there was a lot of disappointment. And I think at this point, regardless of it, the NHL players were either going to have been accustomed to it or they were going to be okay with it.
Yep. All right. So, lockout for MLB.
Yeah, so apparently from what I'm seeing, a lot of it is because with the emergence of analytics and how teams use those analytics, in terms of tiers of players, backups and kind of borderline majors and minors players aren't really getting paid much of anything. And a lot of the,
It's a very
there,
top-heavy
there's
system without the
it's
floor
a top
being.
heavy, yeah. There's a top heavy system, but also um, the
I don't think
teams
the floor is well established.
the teams can control your service time too.
Yeah.
They don't have to bring you up till a certain time to actually get more out of you in your contract.
Yeah.
And so once you actually have 6 years of service time, then after that you'll become a free agent. And basically, it doesn't allow for you to have a worth in the majors once that time is done.
Yep.
And because teams can bring you up later, a top prospect can be brought up when they're 24 years old instead of being 20 years old, and then have 6 years of service time because you bring them up in July. Because if you bring them up in July, you get to have them, it doesn't count against the current year that started in April. It, moves, and that contract then like starts and goes through the next full year too as the rookie year.
Yep.
So because of that, it's really like a seventh year. And
Yeah.
that's why you see teams like the Pirates and Orioles and Rays do that. And because of that, if a 24-year-old prospect gets called up and he's a rookie at 24, he's basically in the middle of his prime and has about 3 or 4 good years left
And then
by
he's
the
done by
time he's a
31,
free agent. Yeah,
which sucks.
it kind of sucks, but I mean, I get to the thing is it's not the NBA,
Yep.
it's not the NFL where if you have the talent, you're ready.
Yep.
So few players are built to go straight to the MLB, and it's
But also, they have so many minor leagues that
right.
the system
Eh,
is inherently broken, I feel like.
Oh yeah, and I was going to touch on that too. When you have low A, high A, and those are in single A ball, then you have double A, triple A, and even you can be sent to the Gulf Coast,
Yeah.
and that's below single A. You can have up to 7 tiers of minors before you even
So
touch the
I really
majors.
think that the MLB has a abundance of player problem also.
Yeah,
And
and
that
they also had
contributes to this error, like this, manipulation of contract.
yeah, and they also had the problem of the players and the minors weren't making any money.
Hmm.
So, they had to live together to greater limits than And that was like the most broken thing about baseball for the longest time. And I think that they agreed to provide, housing or something to minor league teams, which we don't know the extent of that.
Yeah, we
But
don't know what that's gonna
um,
be.
that seems like it's going to be sketchy.
Oh yeah.
But like at the same time, these guys go from making like basically what you would make 45,000 a year in the minors, and then once they get to the majors, all of a sudden they're making 600 grand.
Yeah.
Which the way the contracts are written up is absolutely ridiculous to think that someone can comfortably live on 40,000 a year with that diet and meal plan, because when you have to stay in shape, that means that the food costs more. You still have to pay your bills. You still have to have enough time to go to practices and make car payments and stuff like that,
I mean,
and
it's everything though. You have to
everything.
control your sleeping habits. You have to control your eating habits, how much you work out, what you work out.
Right, and I'm sure there's minor league players. Like, wasn't there the guy on the Twins a couple years ago who pitched against the Yankees in the playoffs, who was like Uber driver on the side? You
Yeah,
know,
that sucks.
you have to make money.
Yeah.
So it's unfortunate, but if there was any league that was uh, more not ready for a lockout, it would be baseball.
I mean, I
Because,
think we all knew this was coming though, because
well,
again, they also
baseball is
have the
just
most.
that league.
They have the biggest disparity in like top heavy players, like what top heavy players are making, and the players in the minors are not making, right?
Mhm.
And yeah, obviously there's a lot, like we only focus on the MLB, but there's a lot. A majority of baseball is happening in the minor leagues.
Yeah.
And that's so it's something that we can't know or we don't know on the surface. We
Yeah.
can know. But
And also, I will say, baseball, unfortunately, is still that league that is just so far out of what society has become
yep.
that and that's why I say they're the most not ready league for a lockout, because they've failed to adapt and failed to provide to what society deemed the norm to be.
Yep.
So when I say like your minor league players don't have sufficient housing,
Mhm.
that's something that should have been taken care of decades ago.
Well, it's not even that. It's first, so there's multiple problems, and I think the problem in what they get paid versus what is expected of them is a bigger disparity than, let's say, lack of housing, nutrition, and all that. Because if you said, okay, well, they're my minor league team, so they're going to be a cost sink for the major league team. The
Hmm.
major league team should, while they're on the facility, have the nutritious food maybe that they would require for a meal if they're in practice for a whole day, right? Or something like that. It's not even the housing part. It's everything builds up on each other, right? Because let's say like you go to the club's facility to work out and they have like, they provide an like rudimentary nutritious things or whatever you need to keep in shape. Rudimentary for when you're at practice. You take at least some of the burden off of what they're expecting. That's right. Yeah. So
Correct. To
if
an extent.
that is a start, and what else now because of this disparity and how much they need to live versus how much they need to spend on their career, which you're supposed to be paying them to do, how much of the disparity is fixed in that, and what else needs to be done to start to bridge that gap?
Yeah,
As
and
minor league
also
teams should be a cost sink for a major league team anyway.
yeah, and also, the fact of the matter is fan bases of the major league team affiliates and their broadcast teams will always say, well, there's a guy down in the minors at this team who is going to be their next cornerstone piece or something like that. And so you're putting pressure on somebody who's in the minor leagues who has limited resources compared to what's available in the majors, um, because we don't know what those resources are or to what extent those resources are in the minors. and to be expected, as you said, to perform at a certain level to which you're not being compensated for. Because if you are supposed to be that next franchise cornerstone, why are you not being paid as such even though you're in the minors? If you're going to put the pressure on me to complete a task at such a high level, then I expect to be paid at the level to which you want me to complete the task.
Right. So I mean, but I also think that, in a sense, leads to just a disparity in what this one player is getting paid for being in the minors versus another.
And
Because
I'm not saying Mike Trout money goes to
oh
the
no, no,
guy who
but
hasn't
what I'm
cracked the
saying is that if guy A is making 45 and they don't think that they're expecting him to climb to the majors, and he's in Double A, let's say, and so you're gonna pay guy B 100 because you want him to have the resources to get to the majors. I don't like. There's a lot of logistical nightmare that's gonna happen, but yeah, like this was gonna happen, and hopefully we see some headway in it.
Yeah, I'm willing to bet that MLB players are going to have to settle for less than what they wanted to, because
But I mean,
I
you
just
also
don't.
go to a negotiating table asking for way more than what you want to.
That's true. I just don't think that the MLB will ever give in fully to what the players want.
Yeah, we'll see. All right. Anyway,
They've been talking about robot umps for like 15 years now, and only now in independent, non MLB associated leagues are they being used. So, what does that tell you? The MLB will fucking acknowledge it as many times as they want, but when it comes to actually doing something about it, they won't.
yep. Anyway, on to the NFL.
Yep.
So here we have the playoff picture.
Yeah.
Um, Green
Any
Bay's the only
surprises?
team that's clinched, right?
Yeah, so far, yeah.
And Detroit and Jacksonville, or Detroit, Jacksonville, Houston, and the Jets
Giants.
are the ones mathematically eliminated.
Giants should be mathematically eliminated, as are the
Oh,
Bears. The Bears, I believe, are eliminated this week.
oh, okay.
So, I mean, no real surprises there. Teams that have been slumping stay slumping.
Because
Um,
I thought it was like technically possible for the. It's like mathematically, I thought, because oh no, Dallas is 10-4. Okay, yeah. So never mind.
but the AFC has turned into an absolute train wreck because anybody can win and anybody can lose,
Yeah.
which makes it really fucking hard to understand what teams are very bad. I know the
I
Steelers are
mean,
bad. They just
you
fucking
have,
like eke out wins, but they do not strike anybody here as a good team.
but you have Cincinnati, Baltimore, Cleveland, and Pittsburgh all basically with the same record.
I don't want the Steelers to make the
No,
playoffs.
no. What I'm saying is
I
like,
will publicize that as much as I can.
what I'm saying
It's
is like,
time to
you
rebuild.
have every team in that one division with basically the same record.
Yeah,
It's
that's what
so
the
weird.
AFC North is always for some reason like the symbolic metaphor for what the NFL is.
Yep.
If in the AFC North a team has 12 wins, there's another division where a team has 12 wins, and like most division winners have at least like 10 or 11 wins. But
Yep.
when the AFC North is crowded, most of the fucking league is crowded.
Yep. Any specific team you want to talk about?
No, I have no desire to be
All
honest with
right.
you. I mean, the NFC East is full of fucking teams that
We don't want
shouldn't
to
be
talk
in the
about it.
playoffs, that shouldn't be in the playoffs, but will be. And the AFC
All right.
North has a
Anyway,
bunch of teams that shouldn't be in the playoffs. See,
let's see fantasy. So this was from week 8.
yeah, the last time that we talked about fantasy.
Last time we talked about fantasy, we had Cooper Cup at number 1, Brady at 2, Henry at 3. All right. Do we want to check what's different?
Oh yeah,
All right. So Josh Allen has jumped up the rankings. Cooper Cup is still pretty damn good.
Jonathan Taylor went from 18 to 3.
Yeah. Herbert's up there. Brady dropped from 2 to 5. Mahomes
I
is.
had a good time to tell you that I have Jonathan Taylor and Justin Herbert
Oh, good for you.
and Tyreek Hill.
Oh, really good for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I think
I,
like
I hate the fact that Kirk Cousins is anywhere near this list. I just want to say that.
15. I think that like I'm kind of surprised. Like I'm not surprised that Cup is still there, but like there's been a pretty big shift in
Yeah.
the top rankings aside from Cup, really.
Yeah. And, it's weird because the Packers are just an interesting team because that Aaron Rodgers doesn't want to be there.
Yeah.
But yeah, he fucking just continues to will them to win.
Yep. So yeah, I mean, good for you if your players are the ones that have been shooting up, and sorry if yours have
I'm
dropped down.
honestly kind of surprised that Derrick Henry isn't still in the top 20.
You got hurt though, no?
Yeah, he got hurt, but he was like still number one in rushing in the league for like 3 weeks after he got hurt.
Yeah, but
That's how far ahead he was.
yeah, but you have an aggregate point one, not over the average. I assume if you did the average, he'd still be up there.
Yeah, if it was standard scoring.
Yeah. So yeah,
Just a nice little
I don't think
tidbit.
I'm surprised by any of the names on this list though.
Yeah. Jalen Hurts kind of surprising me.
I mean, I still think he's good. I don't know if he's like. I definitely don't think he's top 10 good. So he's fine.
Joe Burrow, a little bit for a fantasy. Like, in terms of him being a quarterback,
I mean, he still
like,
has a low points per game average, right?
right, but this is top 20 in the league. Like,
Yeah, but what I'm saying is like Kyler Murray is technically better for each game he's played in than
yeah, but I'm
Joe
just saying,
Burrow.
like, there are quarterbacks who are good for a fantasy owner, and there's good quarterbacks who are absolutely no use to a fantasy owner.
Right.
Joe Burrow strikes me more as a good quarterback who has no use to a fantasy owner.
Well, I don't think it's like I wouldn't pick him as my quarterback if I could get an early one. But I think he's like a decent like if I need him for a week or if I need him because my quarterback's hurt.
Yeah, you'd pick him up in a late round as a waiver ad
Yeah. And so
or borderline.
I'm fine with where he is.
That's why I picked up Jameis Winston this year, and then that went to shit.
That didn't help. Yeah. Anyway, last thing to talk about. So we're obviously we brushed on it with the NHL, right? There's a lot of cases going around. So like, what do we think is going to happen with like the games and all that? I personally am probably not going to go to a game until we start to see warmer weather at least.
So it's interesting because I put this in the graphics a couple days ago, and then we went to a Pitt basketball game yesterday. We stayed masked the whole time, but I don't know how pro sports are handling it, but
I mean,
Pitt basketball made it mandatory masks the whole game.
but
Whole
I'm just
game
not
in
gonna
your
go to an
seats.
in-person game until it probably gets warmer out, so like April.
That's fine. I'm just saying, like, it looks like the direction for people, if they're not going to shut down actual, fans, is to go mask the whole game.
Yeah,
And, I'm fine with that because,
there are a
like,
lot of people who aren't though.
we're in, yeah, I mean, I can see it both ways. The NBA is like, I don't understand why we would pause the season. That's the NBA stance on it. Hockey obviously is a little bit different, but
Yeah,
um, it's an interesting time because I don't know that sports completely shut down again. I think that they feel like they've sacrificed enough money the
yeah,
first time, and so it's going to be hard for them to weather another shutdown.
yeah.
But if they did shut down, at what point do they come back? Because obviously they came back under the assumption that
They'd be back.
yeah, that they'd be back and that they was safe enough to do it in their home arenas and stuff like that.
Yep.
And so if they shut down again, how many times do you shut down then come back before you're actually going to say, okay, we're coming back because we know this time we're in safer atmospheres?
Right.
You just aren't going to know. So I think that sports don't really stop this time.
Right. Yeah.
It may suck. Some teams are going to feel cheated because of, players being on COVID lists, but I just don't know
I mean,
that
one team already in
they
the
can.
NHL fielded like 18 players,
Yeah,
so it's gonna happen.
you play the hand you're dealt.
Yep.
Unfortunately, COVID doesn't just happen if you play your cards right and you do the right things.
Yep. All
So.
right. Well, thanks for tuning in, and catch you next time.